Yo, what's up boys, and welcome back to another video. This one is going to be bringing you guys an in-depth look at ARMA Reforger's first of 3 major updates. This one, which just came out, is called Ground Support. You'll see along the YouTube time bar at the bottom, I've got 5 different categories I want to cover today. The first of which is showing you around Arland. It's a really nice new map. You can see it in the background right now. It looks incredible. There's a cave, there's some bunkers I'm going to show you. I've looked around all of it so I can give you like an entire in-depth look at it. The second thing I want to show you guys are new assets, such as new weapons, a new scope. There's not too much, but I'll show you guys that anyway. The third thing I wanted to show you is new gameplay features, which there's actually quite a lot of, making the quality of life a bit nicer in the game. I just need to shoot this guy. There we go, much better. There's new ragdolls, which look awesome. I'll show you more of those later. And on top of improving quality of life, it's also added extra level of detail into the game, which it didn't have previously, which is good to see as well. The fourth thing I want to look at is ARMA Reforger Life and how its updates are coming along. There's been a lot of them, and love it or hate it, it's one of the most popular mods on Reforger, which gets regular updates right now. And then the fifth section is, of course, answering, is it finally worth playing Reforger? You guys might already know the answer to that question, though. A quick word from today's sponsor, though, Ridge. You can see with me today, I do have my Ridge wallet with a cash strap on the back. Since it is currently the holidays, you can check out Ridge on the link at the top of the description and save up to 40% on a Ridge wallet much like this, or up to, I think, 30 different designs I've got of Ridge wallets you can check out on the website. And this thing fits in 12 cards, no problem, as well as having the cash strap on the back for the cash right there as well. And then with me today, I also have the Ridge key case, which is not a keychain. This is a keychain. This is a hunk of junk. It takes up too much space. This, however, not so much. So if you want to get the best offer on the Ridge wallet or on the Ridge key case or whatever other Ridge offerings you are looking to purchase, you can check out the link in the top of the description, and the up to 40% deal will last until December 22nd. These guys come with a lifetime warranty, and they also have a money-back guarantee if you're not entirely happy. So again, check out the link in the top of the description, and thank you, Ridge Wallet, for sponsoring this video. Okay, so going in head first with the brand new map. If I haven't said already, this map is called Arland. It is, of course, the main thing which has been added in this new update. The second and the third major updates Bohemia currently have planned with Reforger do not include a map. Although we do have some very cool things such as helicopters and a bunch of other cool features, of which I'll have some on the screen right now. They don't include a map. So what is this map? Arland is its name. What's it all about? Well, if you open up a map, you can see it's 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers, which makes it 16 kilometers squared. It's filling a similar place to Utes and Stratis on ARMA 2 and ARMA 3, in that it's a smaller but very similar map. Utes was 4 square kilometers, this map is 16 square kilometers, and Stratis is 20 square kilometers. So it's definitely not the smallest map ever, but if you do look at it and boil it down, it is just 2 cities, a cave, a massive airfield, which is the main point of interest here, with a lot of new buildings such as these underground bunkers, which I will go inside in a few seconds. And as well as that, I will actually show how these underground bunkers are actually made on the Reforger editor, because I was curious when I first seen these, like, wow, an underground building in an ARMA game? Yes, but there were some cheats done to allow these to come into fruition. And this is not only the only bunker on the map. If you want to count these as bunkers, then you can. They do use similar technology to the bunker. You'll see when I show you on the editor. And as well as that, there is also a third bunker areas right here. This is the third one on the airfield. I mean, it's not really a bunker at this point. We'll have a quick look inside, but I will come in with a flashlight in a second. This one was in the trailer as well. So yeah, these are all really cool. And as well as that, we do have a ATC. And this building right here, I believe both of these are actually brand new. I might be wrong with some of the stuff I think is new, but it isn't actually new just because I haven't played Reforger for a crazy amount of time. But from looking around it, pretty much the rest of the map, if we go to somewhere quickly like the city of Durograd, I don't know if I pronounced that right, you'll see although there are things like different signs in these buildings, and we can actually open these up on the editor now, which is really cool. Past that, I think they are still the same building at their core, or at least they share a lot of similar furniture. You guys all know if you've played Everon before, this looks kind of like Everon, right? Like if you took a picture of this and I sent it to you, you'd be like, yeah, that's Reforger, but it's Everon. That's already a thing. So the city's not really of any real interest to me. That's not all going to be focusing on with the map section. A quick overview of the map itself, since I do have 5,000 meter draw distance right now. You can actually see from one end to the other end of the map, which is really cool because it is, of course, not really that big. But you can see the city I was just in, the second city. You can see over here we have a place called Bald Ridge, which I'm personally offended by. Not sure why it's called Bald Ridge. I guess because there's no trees up here. That makes sense. And then the airfield, and that's pretty much the entire map. There's nothing wrong with having a smaller map, though. And a lot of people do have a lot of negative things to say about Reforger, but I do just want to have a quick like look at the coastline and stuff. Like, this game does look, in terms of lighting, which is something which can really make a game look terrible or great. It looks great. It looks really, really nice in this game with reflections on the water. Look at this right here as well. We've got a little puddle in the middle of an airfield. You can see we've got the new SA-58 in our hands right now. I'm not sure what's going on. What the fuck? Editor, edit this part out. Anyway, as I was saying, this is one of the new weapons, but we'll look at those more in depth in the actual weapon categories of this video. I just want to like zoom through the bunkers quickly though and show you guys what they're all about. We are of course out at nighttime right now, but if you do change it to daytime, the cool thing is with this bunker, which is why I was so impressed by it, is you can see it's still dark down here. It is a bit peculiar when you compare it side by side. Maybe it's a bug and they'll fix it, but if you didn't see it already, if you look at daytime versus nighttime, it's somehow brighter down here at nighttime than it is at daytime. It's something to do with the lighting, obviously, but maybe it's something they'll change. This applies to pretty much any underground area on or in Reforger, full stop, whether it's the cave on the original Everon map or the cave or the underground bunkers on this map. So we'll have a quick look through these buildings. We've got the ATC over there as well. The airfield on Everon, although it is a significantly bigger map at, I believe, 51 square kilometers versus the 16 of this map, it doesn't really have too much going on the airfield at all. This airfield, you'll see if we change it to daytime again, has this awesome looking perimeter around it, which reminds me somewhat of like Shinaris. It's got this double fenced perimeter. I did look at the Everon map and it just doesn't have that, so that's cool if you're into that. And as well as that, we do, of course, have the massive bunkers, which just broke my game a second ago. These have got a bunch of openable doors. In fact, I'll just go ahead and move this character over here and zoom through this. I don't want to make this video an hour long because you guys aren't going to watch it, and there's just no point. If you want to go through and see all of the map stuff yourself, it's a free map. It's a free update, as are all three of the major updates. So go try it out. I should hopefully cover most of it in a timely manner though. So there's a bunch of these copied and pasted around right there, and then if I move my character over this way, I can show you guys the bunker right here, which is called, I believe on the editor, something like fuel tank container or something. It is daytime now, not nighttime, so you will be viewing this at somehow a darker view, so I'm sorry. In fact, we'll just make it nighttime for you guys quickly. It's not too hard. There we go, nighttime. Move returns. Let's go and press L to put our flashlight away. Then we can bring out our SA-58 and clear these corners. Yeah, the lighting, it's good. Lighting's good, guys. Even in these weird new underground areas. But the secret of Reforger's underground areas will be revealed in a few seconds here. And speaking of amazing lighting, let's have a quick look at the airfield at nighttime. It does look pretty nice, right? I do have a few mods currently active, so some of those might change the way things look. Like I've got one which makes the lights in buildings stay on no matter what, but I don't think it actually works on this map, so I don't think it's making a difference. But this might be slightly different to what you experience if you do try it out yourself. So that building I was just in as well does actually have an entrance and an exit through this this main center thing. So you can see over here, it will bring you to this entrance right here, which has got a gated door, and then over here there's another mirrored entrance. As well as that, there are two entrances which bring you to nowhere. Pretty incredible, right? Those are my favorites. As well as that, on the other side of the airfield, we do have these little bunkers built into... I can't even see them because they're so invisible. Oh, here we are. Built into the hill right here. These are kind of cute. There's again... well, not again, but there's nothing to do in here. I mean, it's just two buildings. The other building, you know, at least you could have some people going through it and a bit of combat. But here, I mean, you can, you know, sit in a corner, maybe put down some props and build a little cute base here. But past that, right now, although it looks cool, it's kind of pointless, but maybe we'll see some kind of gameplay in there. I mean, the new update does include some kind of some new scenarios or something. The issue is a lot of the stuff that they've included on the roadmap just isn't in this. I'll go through that probably at some point later on in this video as well, but it's hard to work out what isn't in this release, because there is a lot of things that they said they were going to add in release, like the ragdolls, the map, the weapon. But then there's things like the anti-tank mines. I don't know where those are at. The birds, wildlife prototype birds. I don't know where those are at. New medical items? Where? I just don't, I don't know. I'm just happy to see some new buildings because after Bohemia broke my heart with Livonia's release. Oh, there's ladders in here. Cool, let's go up here. Yeah, Livonia just had every single building from Shinaris, and they, you know, made people pay for it in Arma Free and DayZ, which I paid for it on both, or maybe I got it for free on one of them too. I'm not sure. But the point is, I'm okay with that, but I just wanted some new maps, not new maps, some new buildings, and this map does have new buildings, which is great to see. So this building right here as well, I'm pretty sure is a new one, and we did fix finally. Thank you, Bohemia. Thank you for listening. We fixed the ladders. You can climb up ladders and climb down ladders successfully now. So that's just wonderful news from Bohemia, since we are very well known for having some of the dodgiest ladders in the gaming industry. We do have a radio as well, which we can also change on the Game Master. So if you are doing a bit of game mastering and you want to freak out the people you're playing or the people you're game mastering for, you can turn the radio on and off and make them wonder, who was that? This is for Game Master, but you can pretend it was a ghost or something. All right, I think we've had enough of this building for now. That's pretty much everything of that one. We'll have a quick fly around the ATC, a quick fly around the little building beside, and then, honestly, I think we're pretty much done with the map portion of today's video. We should be able to show you the gameplay, the new elements, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, actually, I do have one more thing I want to show you with the map, which is the actual editing tools. Where's the toilet? I want to flush the toilet. There we go. Hello? And then there's this building right here beside it. Oh, you can open up these as well. These are like little toilet things. I think this is a new building as well. So you can see it's kind of cool. It's a little military, you know, office. You've got a classroom over here. Not here. No, not here. Where's the classroom? I've never seen a classroom with chairs. Am I thinking of a different building? Maybe there's other new buildings. There's probably other new buildings that I'm missing here. Let's be real. So the cave is one of the biggest cheats of them all. How did I find this? I'll show you how I found it, actually. I'll show you how I found it in a second. But this is something that a lot of people who have looked at this map probably haven't seen, because it's a really underground, hard-to-find place. Let's just turn on our flashlight again. So the cave, I mean, it's a bit darker, but it looks bad at daytime. There's no two ways about it. You can see we've got some water down in here. We've got a radio if we do so desire to communicate with the lads. And we even have a sunroof thing as well, if you're into that. But again, if we change it to nighttime, all of a sudden it starts looking kind of nice, right? Kind of nice. And if you just listen, I'll crank it up to you guys, but if you listen to the ambience of this game at nighttime, it would be sounding kind of spooky, right? It reminds me of a mission I played on Arma 2 and Arma 3. And if you guys know which one I mean, where like it was a horror mission. Like, I'm getting kind of scared right now, even though it's midday IRL. Was some eyes in the forest on this mission, and like the zombies and shit. Kind of reminds me of that, like the ambience. Like, listen. All right. So yeah, this cave's at 2525. Right over here, 2525. That's where I am right now. You guys do want to try it out for yourself to see that's where we are. 2525. It's in southeast. The map all around does have very, very nice, small, intricate details, though. Something that has definitely been improved throughout the ARMA franchise is at first maps just looked like massive empty terrains with buildings, most of which weren't enterable. But now on Reforger, most even small sheds are enterable. We've got a lot of small details with foliage, with rocks, with bridges, all that kind of stuff. And even in certain areas on the map, you'll see we've got things like even destroyed buildings, which I believe that this is a new asset as of this map. But again, I could be wrong. Still, every new building that's new, which is added, thumbs up from me. There's other areas which do just look like everyone, like this one right here. It's just everyone buildings, but they tried. And actually, this might be one for classroom inside it. Is this classroom place? Oh, no, I think I'm just making a building up. There is no classroom building, I think. Looking pretty nice, all right? Pretty nice. So this is the Reforger modding tools. I want to show you these for a few reasons, but the main reason was to show you, of course, the underground and how exactly that works. But I would recommend, if you guys own the game, it's free to download. You can see it right here. It's just called ARMA Reforger Tools, and it allows you to do a lot of cool things if you're into just looking at how stuff works. You can see this is one of the assets I was at a second ago, the tank building one. the one with the, you can't really see, but the pipey thing in the middle. And you can see the top of this looks rather odd, which is, well, it leads me to my next point. You'll see if we actually move these underground areas, like this one right here, this is one I was at a second ago. There's a bunch of these around the actual airfield, by the way, not just one. But you'll see it actually brings the ground with it, kind of thing. You'll see if we zoom into it, or I guess if we just undo this and go over here, you'll see that this is still the same way that underground buildings have been done for years in ARMA. Although Bohemia have mostly avoided doing them because they just look a bit clunky. But where the terrain is technically still below and deformed for the building to sit there. And then what's on top of it in this case is, I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, you just seen it in this thing right here, but it's this weird green texture that somehow takes the existing texture and foliage from above it and applies it to a building. So this is a technological advancement for Reforger to be able to more easily, for modders to be able to add underground structures into it, but it is still technologically inferior to traditional, Unreal Engine games, which just have, an underground environment which doesn't need to be kind of scooped out ahead for it. It doesn't need the terrain to be deformed below it. You can see this even more prominently on, I believe, one of our other underground buildings, but maybe it isn't this one. Oh, I guess these ones over here as well. So you can see this one's massive. And again, this is technically the terrain right here, which has been scooped. I guess an even bigger example of this, which I mentioned earlier, is this thing, right? It's not really underground, but again, the thing on top of it isn't technically terrain. It's just something that copies the foliage and the texture from below it. And I mean, it looks good. It's a convincing effect for sure. It's not as bad as it was in ARMA 2 and ARMA 3, where people would kind of add these fake 3D assets above it. Now you don't need to worry as much with that because they can just take the terrain and the foliage from below it to make it more naturally go into the environment. So it looks pretty good. Oh, this is the classroom building. This is the thing I was looking for. Yes. I'm not going to look at it in game then, but you can see there is indeed a classroom building. I wasn't just making it up, which is wonderful. But yeah, one of the reasons I would recommend trying out these modding tools as well is because they're just so easy to use. If I were to bring this ATC in the middle right here, and I go ahead and use the scaling tool, I can, like, in a few seconds rescale something, which isn't incredible, but for someone with like a simple 2 IQ brain like me, it gets me going. I can then go in and try out the mod which I've made, right? I can then shoot the glass of the ATC. I can explore the ATC as a little person, essentially. It's nothing too incredible, right? But it's something that anyone can do. I didn't take a 10 part course to work this one out on Skillshare or whatever. I just figured it out. And now I'm a little classroom baby thing. Excellent. The way I did find out this stuff, by the way, if you do end up using these tools, is you can search for things like cave. So I just search cave right here, and then if you press F, you can teleport to the asset which you've got selected. And this brings me to my dirty cheating example from Bohemia right here. If we go ahead and select something else, you'll see if we go to this cave, which I was showing you guys a second ago, the blackness. How does the blackness actually work? Well, you see this right here. If we click this and then we move this out this way, you'll see the blackness is technically, it's just a fake black thing that kind of just sits on the world. So if we go undo, you'll see it goes back inside the cave. We undo the other way and it goes back outside the cave. It's just like you can see right here in the world, it's just a black thing that is just specifically situated in the cave to make it look decent at daytime. But it's still definitely something that's lacking with Reforger. If it didn't entirely fix that one with Reforger, I was hoping it would just make like great underground environments that are easy for the developers and modders and all that kind of stuff to set up. But it's still not ideal if you do have to put this black thing inside to kind of work around the limitations of Reforger. You can even do things like search bunker in the top left, and you will be able to just press F once you've selected a bunker. And wait, this is a bunker I haven't shown you guys? Oh my god, I completely forgot about this bunker. Completely forgot about this bunker. So I'll show you guys this bunker in game in a second. It's similar to the radio one where there's 2 entrances into it. The actual side parts to it are pretty much identical to the small bunker where there's a toilet in one. There's whatever the hell this is in the other one, and that's about it. But you can see this one deforms the terrain, the ground terrain even more. And if we move it around, you will see that wonderful effect again. When I first seen this effect, I thought it was magic. So it took me a while to even work out how to how to move things on the editor because things were locked. I thought because maybe it's a default map, so maybe we may have locked the default maps, but you can indeed edit the original maps to your heart's content. I'm assuming, at least, even including deforming the terrain, not just moving buildings and all that kind of stuff around. But yeah, let's have a quick look at this thing in game. All right, it took me a while, but I finally found the big chunky bunker, and we've got the classroom thing over here. It's nothing too incredible, but again, I'm pretty easily excited by cool buildings and cool underground buildings, and this is an underground building, so very nice, Bohemia. It kind of works, kind of. It would have been nice to see something on the scale similar to what they just did with DayZ, with the Livonia bunkers. Those things are massive, and those also have their own version of kind of working around the limitations. But with Reforger, it does seem like the workarounds do not seem to have to be as hardcore as they are with DayZ. These dark environments seem to just work better naturally, but you still do need to put in a bit of work to make them work fully as an underground environment. Otherwise, they're just going to look really bright and really shit. So yeah. One of my characters just do a spin. So I just got finished showing all the new gameplay features as well as the new weapons added in, and then I realized I wasn't recording. So I guess we'll do it all over again. In terms of new weapons, we've got the SA58P. If we press O on this, we can actually show off this new inspect screen as well. This screen's very, very good for adding and removing attachments, which I'll show you guys in a few seconds here. And the second new weapon is the SA58V. These do not have removable stocks or anything like that, so these are not interchangeable. They are technically two different weapons, but they sound the same, they perform the same, they both go full auto, they're pretty much the same thing. So yeah, that's it in terms of new weapons added in this update. Yeah, this is a mod. Yeah, just pretend that's not there. So the only other new weapon thing which has been added is you'll see on the M16A2, there's now an attachable scope. If you press the O screen on this again, we can drag this off, and then you'll see it is indeed off our weapon. And then we can go ahead and drag it back on as well by pressing the O screen again, whoop, just like that. This thing is toggleable, as is on one other weapon right now in the game, which is the SVD. If you hold control and right click, you can toggle between these. It might not seem like a big deal, but it's something Reforger did not have on launch, which ARMA 3 did have on launch, I'm pretty sure, with like the RCO being able to change between two different scopes. So you can do that now, which is very, very nice. And then let's see if this actually does work on the underbarrel version as well. It looks like it doesn't. So yeah, you're either going to have an M16 with an underbarrel or an M16 with the scope, which the scope is, it's decent. It's not amazing, but you know, it does the job. Go ahead and put them back on. You see the magnification there is pretty nice. Compared to a right click, it's pretty much the same as right click. No, it's a bit more than right clicking. And then also you'll see in our inventory, if we press O and then drag a magazine out, we can also use this to unload our guns if you want to have a certain type of ammo in our gun. I don't think there's really that many different types of ammo in the game right now. We've got Stanag Tracer, we've got Stanag not Tracer, so if you want to have a Tracer mag instead, then you can do that. Or if you are using these highly modded weapons like the M82 Barrett, the thing I had earlier, we've got AP and a pit magazine if we want to try out those different as well. All right, so this brings us on to gameplay. I've already shown you guys a bit of a gameplay just there a second ago by showing you this new menu. I don't think this thing was in before this update. If it was added, it was added recently because I've never seen it, and it works pretty nicely. You just drag and drop things and yeah, it works. But another thing which is kind of the same thing but different is if you press your inspect key, which I'll show you guys where this is in the controls. This is really, really nice, but as far as I can see right now, it's either bugged or it doesn't work for me, or I don't know if someone knows, let me know. But you see right here in the equipment, there's inspect, and I've tried this with a bunch of different keys, and you can see when I press it, my character's hands just kind of do this weird thing. But eventually, if you keep on pressing your inspect button, I'm not going to cut this out just so you can see how fucking annoying this bug is. Pardon my French. Eventually, we will see that the character will indeed inspect his gun. The inspect thing in itself is not a new feature, but being able to change your attachments while in the inspect screen, I believe, is a new thing added just recently. It's still not working. Eventually it will work. I'm gonna keep on pressing my inspect button. I'll come back when it works. There we go. I have no idea why it took that long, but it did. So you see here, we can do things like change our fire mode. We can change to burst, to semi. We can turn on our weapon safety, which is really, really cool. Like, imagine this feature, but minus the... I just went out of it now. Minus the 10 different animation, whatever's happening here, happening. Like, if you just pressed it and it worked, like it used to work fine, that would be cool. You'll even see sometimes when you do this, you can still see the interaction menu for these, for some reason. I don't know, it's just really buggy. But that's Reforger. It's kind of buggy. All right, there we go. So now we can do things like detach this, which now that I actually look at it a bit more, it's a bit weird how like it clips through the bottom there. And for some reason on this, we also can't put the scope back on. Both other weapons you can. I don't know, but yeah, we can like attach our magazines, so we can take our mag out, put in a different magazine. When this actually works as intended, it'll be great, but until then, I would recommend just not using it. Either use the O screen, or if you want to make sure it works properly, press middle click, and you'll see it opens up this screen right here, and then you can drag and drop attachments onto it. The reason I say use a middle click screen is because some weapons don't actually show the correct attachments. For example, it's probably mostly because it's a mod, but even the weapon I was using a second ago didn't have the thing I was looking for, which that isn't a modded weapon. But if we get a laser and also a what do you call it, a holo side kind of thing for our weapon, after about 10 more minutes of pressing the O button or the I button, eventually we'll get the inspect animation. There we go, we got it pretty quickly there. You can see you can put the weapon safety on and off, and we can... Oh, I just attached to change the mag. Whatever. Point is, you can put the scope on, you just drag it here, and there we go, there's a flashlight on and now, phenomenal, and we can put this on like that, phenomenal. But then if you don't use that menu and you press O, you see here there's only the magazine we can click on. We can see the magazine in there. We can't change these, even though we are technically functional on the top. We can, you know, use them, no problem, we just can't see them, but that's probably mostly because it's a mod, right? And then if we press our I button and the inspect was to work properly, we would be able to turn our flashlight on, which is really, really nice as well. So if you really, really want, we can actually go ahead and use a double flashlight. Yeah, this weapon, I believe, was made by Bacon8008. Maybe it wasn't Bacon, but he's made a lot of really, really good mods if it wasn't by Bacon. I love this thing, because the ragdolls, you really get to see them in full force. Watch this. See that? He flew. That boy flew. Go back and look at what Reforger animations look like on launch, by the way. They look terrible. This brings us to our next gameplay feature, which is the new... what do you call it? Medical system kind of thing. There is other things that were supposed to be added in this update, and I don't think they're in. Like, it says there's ambulances in this update and medical assets. I've spawned in a medical crate right here. I don't see any medical assets, which are new, just for bandage, and you can see an icon on the bandage. But in terms of the actual medical system being changed a bit, you'll see if I shoot this guy in the leg, he dies because this weapon's just overpowered. But if we pick up a normal weapon, we'll use the M16. The M16 is probably going to kill slightly slower. So we're shooting once in the torso and once in the leg. And then if we go into Game Master and have a look at this guy's view, you'll see some cool new stuff, which I showed earlier. So you can see here very easily, I can see that I'm bleeding and that, I don't know what that means, but there's something else wrong with me. So you can see I'm bleeding from my left arm. We've got a damage amount, and you can see which area of your body you've been shot in. You can be shot in like your lower torso, your upper torso. I'm not sure if you can get shot in the head and survive, but there is different levels of damage. You know, you can see here we got low damage on both. But if you are shooting someone with a Desert Eagle, an M107, whatever else, then it probably should be a bit more damaging. For example, if I shoot this guy in the head, so he's not feeling very good now. So if I were to go on his screen, his head would say, ow, that hurt. But yeah, the medical system's the same. You just bring out the bandage and you hold R and you can't move. So I'm not really sure. I mean, it says health system enhancements, new medical items, self-bandaging for multiple hit zones. Oh, and you can click on the zone to actually... Wait, what am I doing right now? I don't even know what I'm doing. Drop? Yeah, I click on this and then it shows that, but then if I click on this, it doesn't show. I don't know. It's still an improvement. It's still an improvement. And to finish up the actual gameplay section, although there is a few other things, like I showed you guys earlier as well, one of the things which we said they were going to add is the function to interact with the world, to play things like pianos, to be able to turn radios on and off. Is there any pianos in here for us to play? I think there's a piano somewhere here. Oh, there's a piano. It's kind of dark in here, but... See? It works. So that'll be cool. If people can even mod with that, that'll be really cool to have things in the world that a game master can manipulate in a meaningful way to make the situation more interesting for everyone. And the other thing I want to show is now if you hold control and scroll, you can change into, I counted them before, I think it was like 12 different stances, something like that. So you can see if we go 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to count them all, but you can see there's a lot of different stances. So if you were missing that from Arma 3, then don't worry, it's back. And as well as that, if you go prone and then do a roll, you can indeed shoot and do a roly-poly, if that's what you're into too. And you can see some even cooler stuff when inspecting something like this. This is something that they said was going to be in the game as well. It says deploy your weapon for stabilization while prone. I don't think you can do that. And use interactive bipods on weapons. I don't think there is. Or maybe I should try a weapon. Is there any weapons in this game that come with bipods? Because this is modded, right? Just to confirm. So like this works perfectly. I don't think it actually has a gameplay difference. But maybe I should see if that's something they've added. Because I don't think they have. But you can see we can put a flashlight on this if we want. We can, you know, put an ACOG on it. Like once this works fully and there's, you know, mods in the game and all that kind of stuff, this whole system seems really, really cool in my opinion versus what we're used to with Arma 3. Looking pretty good. Damn, that's a chunky boy. Okay, you can indeed do this weapon. Let's see, can you actually see the safety physically on this one? You can't. But it does work in the developer's defense. Don't know if it has a gameplay impact. And I'm not sure, can you like deploy this? It's not like they have like a good, you know, video or anything to show off all the features. So I don't think you can deploy right now like you can with Arma 3. But, you know, you can, at least it looks cool. That's like halfway there. Oh. Sorry guys, I just wanted to do a frag montage quickly. Anyway, on to the next section, which is to do with ARMA Reforger Life and how it's looking right now. This video, which I'm showing on screen right now, literally came out yesterday. If you want to check out the full YouTube channel, the ELAN Life YouTube channel, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And what can I say other than that? It's, you know, as you've seen with all updates, just slow and steady progress. I still don't think it's quite ready to be played because of reasons I've already listed, but they are slowly adding more and more features. You'll see in this video, we have things like putting people in and out of vehicles, being able to search a vehicle for illegal drugs, such as mushrooms. But there has been a lot of improvements that you might not have seen, which you can see some on the screen right now, such as being able to actually change the color of your vehicle. In this case, it's a ruby vehicle, which looks very, very nice. We can see you can do similar things with weapons as well. You can even create gangs now, which you'll see later on in this video as well, which are all great things, which are really the baseline requirements needed to make a life and Arma Life gameplay mode. So this isn't, you know, anything breathtakingly technologically advanced, really setting new precedents for levels of life in terms of its gameplay elements. It is really just doing the bare basics, plus maybe a few things which are interesting, such as the ability to do gestures, which the character does show a bit later on in this video as well. But the main thing to really know with all of this stuff is that the Reforger ELAN Life servers are popular. A lot of people might think this looks kind of shit, who cares? But maybe once you see, well, actually, maybe it's not that shit. Maybe it's kind of okay. Also, this is actually a cool thing, which isn't necessary, but is there, and it works right now live on the server. But yeah, knowing that there's actually people on the server, I think there's 2 servers, 42 player slots at most. I'll have on screen what the population's looking like right now. It's pretty much midday on a weekday right now, so it's not going to be insanely high. But during the peak of the servers are completely full. I do wish they would do things like remove the safe zone from the main zone. You can even see on this video the armor icon on the right is because they're in a safe zone. When you're in a safe zone, you just can't shoot anyone, which I get why. It's to stop trolling and stuff like that. This is very much so early access, but it just means a lot of people on the server will just live in a safe zone and be annoying, and cops can't do anything about that. I don't understand if civs can't, but even cops can't do anything about that, which is a bit frustrating sometimes, as I'm sure you can imagine. The only other thing I'd say, which is really, really required before this is maybe got more of a core gameplay loop, but not the only thing, but like maybe a gas station robbery or something like that would be good. But there is a 911 system. You can respond to 911 calls. You can send in a 911 call if you're getting robbed or whatever else. But the main thing, and my character does the 360 there as well, is being able to actually move someone when they're in restraints. You can see right here in this demonstration video, he is simply pointing at this guy saying, go over to this cell right here. But you should really, and I'm sure we'll be able to work it out eventually, you should really be able to actually put cuffs on someone, which you can put cuffs on people, but you should then be able to actually move that person, because just constantly cuffing them and uncuffing them and telling them to move isn't always going to have the outcome which really you're looking for, I'd imagine. You can see one of the modded weapons right here, and as well as that, there's so many smaller things which you would have seen if you looked at the other videos ELAN have uploaded, but if you haven't seen those, there's a reputation system as well, there's drug systems, and there's a beehive system or something, and this right here is demonstrating the gang system if you are really trying to get deep into it and you want to make one of those. I'm sure eventually there will be more things for these gangs or groups, whatever you want to call them, to do, such as having hideouts and all that kind of stuff. But it's still early days with Reforger. Reforger's only been out 6 months, and ELAN is only just begun. So we'll see what they can do long term. Like I said, none of this is really groundbreaking technology, but hopefully they can keep developing it. The main audience for these ELAN live servers right now are still Xbox players, which is very interesting to play with those fellas. But I'm sure a lot of people who are interested in Reforger right now are just Xbox players. Like, you don't have any choice to play an alternative Arma Free Life or just roleplay as a whole. You can't play them on Xbox. This is really your only way to do that on Xbox right now, as far as I know, which is cool to see. And Bohemia are only going to add more stuff into the game. Anyway, going on to the final part of the video, which is it worth finally playing Reforger? No, it's not. It's really, really buggy. You haven't seen any networking stuff in this video, but it just doesn't work very well. Go play it. I'll have some gameplay in the background right now, although maybe it probably won't demonstrate the issue too well. But yeah, it crashes. It's buggy. It's kind of laggy. But are they making progress towards the goal of this engine and these gameplay sets being a part of a great Arma 4 experience? Yeah, I guess kind of. I mean, it's a bit disappointing that not everything which was set off in the roadmap, and by not everything, I mean quite a few things from what I can see on in. It's not a good start for the first major update to be lacking some of these big updates, to name a few again. Even anti-tank mines. There's no anti-tank mines in. Destroy vehicles with placeable explosives. No, you cannot. The medical system. Nope. The vehicles that were supposed to be coming to ambulances. Nope. The birds, nope. There's probably other things as well, but that's not a good start. But the main things are in, and the main things that are in, they work decently. So overall, I don't know, probably like 7 out of 10 for this little major update. The next one will be quite the chunky monkey, though. The next one will have a heavy machine gun, an NSV, a flare, a bunch of new ballistic protection to equip, so that we'll actually have some body armor, which isn't a thing in the game right now, in case you didn't realize there's no body armor, which sounds weird, but it's just how it is. Flight suits, an optic for the Soviet weapon, probably for like the AK-74, bayonets, suppressors, and also helicopters. This one's going to be a big one. Unconscious state of character, much like in Daisy. That's going to be cool to give yourself a second chance at life. If you do get incapacitated, you could get woken up just from being line of sighted, or maybe your teammate does something to you. I am liking the sound of the air assault, the second roadmap release. So I will undoubtedly cover that one when it does come out. And also one last thing on this, the world interaction electricity also sounds very cool, not only for the current maps that are in there, but also for the potential of mods to learn from this technology and add it into their own buildings as well for scenarios. And I'm sure even before this thing comes out, the ELAN live server should still be more playable, so I can actually get some more like Reforger gameplay kind of thing up on this channel, because I really don't have too much of that other than from the initial release showing off those mods. But if there is something of noteworthy to show for Reforger, I will definitely try to share it with you guys. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you've got any questions about the first major update, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will attempt to answer them if you don't already own the game. And when I said earlier that it's not worth playing the game or buying the game right now, I mean, if you are truly okay with dealing with bullshit and bugs and stuff like that, and you're curious, much like me, you want to try it with modding tools, you want to try out the audio editor, everything that the modding tools has to offer, and you just want to fuck around with mods and stuff like that, I would say go ahead and purchase it. I bought it for $30. It's not been on sale since release. I don't think $30 is a crazy amount of money. And I'll be checking out these updates and seeing what Bohemia are doing. I'm a big fan of Bohemia, although I do shit on them sometimes, so for that reason, I'd say, yeah, it's worth it. But if you're looking to buy it and to be able to play this game or to play Wasteland, to play King of the Hill, to play Life Mods, to play whatever else, that's just not what the space looks like right now. There are some servers to play on, but not the way you might expect them to. So if you're looking to mess around, buy it. If not, don't buy it. All right. See you guys next time.